What is up, guys? Welcome in. My name is Nick and welcome to the channel. You join me today at Hakone and we are once again behind the wheel of the trusty Honda Civic. We are just completing the first of our 3 qualifying attempts here, and we're going to put in a not particularly competitive 1.077 and that puts us about 2 seconds off of the lap pace at the moment, with the guy currently holding a P1. Our second attempt is fairly good. We're about 0.4 of a second up halfway through the lap. Coming through out the final corner, we've got up to just shy 0.8, and we find another just over 1/10 on the run down to the line to get 0.9 of a second improvement, bringing us to a 106.8. We have a final attempt here as we come through the left-hander before the back straight. You see we're not quite getting as much up on the curb as we would like there. It limits me getting on the power coming down this back straight here, so we lose a little bit of time through that corner, and then once again the long left-hander before the start finish straight, just get a bit greedy on throttle, get a bit too aggressive too early on, pushes me wide, and we end up dropping, still making improvement. There's a couple of tenths left on the table there, which meant we could have potentially got a 106.5, 106.4, something like that. So not the best of qualifying positions in this one here. Just as a quick reminder for this one, we are safety rated S with a skill rating of 4.807 coming into this race here, and we are sporting the new livery as done by Despicable Me, the fantastic subscriber who let me know he has got the 2023 livery available on his store there. So if you do like the look of it, do please go pick it up. We get off the line here nice and quickly. We get a much better start than the two around us here, with the Audi in front of us barely moving off the line, and the Merc pinches us to the outside here as we just carry as much speed as we can, get up on the inside of the curb here. He gives us a clip on the front driver's side, well, passenger side quarter panel, and that spins me around here. Because we were up on the curb, there was no way of really turning into it, and we clip the wall, spin it around. So within the space of half of a turn, we are back down to a P20 of 21. We catch up to the back of this little group here by the end of the first lap. I was expecting that Peugeot to stay wider than he did there. Apologies for driving into the back of you, but I was expecting you to drift further out to the wide, and I was going to try and cut back, and that didn't really happen. So unfortunately, a little bit of contact there, but it didn't really affect either of us. Coming down the back straight here, we get a much better run out of the corner than the Audi in front of us. The Peugeot has got a fantastic toe, gives us a bit of a hoof in the background as we come through the sweepers, and the Audi decides that he wants to go right into a left-hander, and that sends me off into the runoff area, and the Peugeot sort of disappeared off into the wall after driving into the back of me as well. So important thing, we managed to hold those two positions through this. We're up to P17 now, and we're just going to solidify that by holding the tighter line through this corner here while the Audi behind us drifts off massively. We don't really have a great run out of that corner. We do pick up a small penalty of a 1/10 of a second, so yeah, not great, but we are up to P17. That's the important thing. Going to be the beneficiary of a nice chunky 2-second penalty there. Apparently I overtook off the track, even though I was trying to give the Civic a fair bit of space as he was rejoining kind of, so I just went far right to make sure I didn't hit him because I wasn't exactly sure where he was going to go, and that lands me a 2-second penalty for apparently overtaking off the track. To end lap 3, we get a nice little punt on the door from the MG on the left hand here as he just decides to drift further right than he needed to. He also brakes incredibly early coming into turn 1 beginning of lap 4, so I have to swerve around him. Means I don't quite pick up the braking point where I would like to, and we are now defending all the way through these sweeping corners. I'm not a massive fan of Hakone, it must be said, especially with that little corner here that I'm going to get another penalty from. So we've picked up 2.3 second penalties just on one corner, and I can't say I've gained that much of a benefit from it, considering the guy I apparently overtook off track is still ahead of me. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. Coming into lap 5 here, the Civic in front of me sort of goes to a bit of a weird line, pulls in front of me, then starts braking, so that was a bit irritating. But anyway, it's just a lot of scrappy racing this one. You see the Civic goes very, very deep on the brakes there through the left-hander before the back straight, and we end up now up to P12 after all that scrapping. It's kind of just trying to get through this one, really. It's not the greatest of races, not the cleanest of races. We do pick up the being the beneficiary of these two squabbling ahead as they are very slow down the straight, and we pick up the position over the MG. Kind of a half move there by me. The bloke sort of braked a little bit early, but it was not kind of turn. Yeah, I don't really know what happened there, to be honest. It was a slight graze in it. He ended up the beneficiary, I ended up worse off, so not really anything to worry about. Those two get a little bit of Forza glue coming out of the sweeping left-hander before the final left-hander before the back straight. It's really hard to give you any sort of landmarks on this circuit because it's all just sweeping lefts and sweeping rights. It's kind of a boring track, to be honest. But yeah, the important thing, we are P10 and we're just trying to break the gap behind us. We don't quite manage it, unfortunately. Even with this 0.8 of a second, he was only 1.1 behind me. We need at least 2-second gap, and yeah, it wasn't really going to be on, unfortunately. But yeah, we get P11. Not the finish we wanted, but based on how the first bit went, considering coming out of the first or second corner, depending on where you classify the landmarks on it. Being dead last, I'll take a P11, it's not too bad. So for the second one, we'll be going to Watkins Glen. This is the faster of the two tracks. It doesn't have like the boot section, basically. Coming through for the first qualifying lap here, we get it all wrong through a second part of bus stop, and we just end up face planting in the wall there, so we will ignore that one. We'll go again, and we'll post our first time at, once again, a not particularly competitive 1:17.0. So going to try and be a bit more aggressive on this one, but we carry a bit too much speed through turn one. We keep the lap valid, but we just end up being very, very slow up the hill, and you see we're down half a second before we even get to bus stop, and we only managed to claw a couple of tenths back through the lap. So we're going to be starting P10. Yeah, really not a great showing from me this week. I've had a bit of stuff going on, which meant I've not really been racing for about a week, and I think the rustiness is showing. So yeah, we're starting mid-packs, not really where I like to start. If I'd have thought 10th was on the cards, I wouldn't have really qualified. I would have started at the back and just picked off people as they messed up. But anyway, it is what it is. So starting in front of a group of other Civics by the looks of it, we get way off the line. We get a much better start than the Audi in front of us once again. The black and blue monster delivery one on the right hand side, boxing us out on the outside. The other Audi gets very slow run through there. We get the Golf sliding up on the inside of us. We get just driven off the road by this other MG, so we are down to P12 through turn one. Not really pleased with how that guy defended his position. Well, didn't really defend his position, stole that position, to be honest. Coming down into the bus stop here, we brake nice and early, take a loader curb through the inside, holding fourth gear through here and just making sure we get through nice and cleanly. Not a bad run through there at all. Coming through the final the penultimate corner, we go a little bit too greedy, using the runoff area there, and we do pick up once again another penalty, this time half a second for probably about 3 inches worth of runoff. So yeah, that seems about right. We get a much better run out of the final corner though, until we drop a wheel onto the grass, which completely ruins our run through turn one. So we end up using the runoff area there, slotting in position behind the other car who just got in front of us. So we have dropped from P10 to P13 through the course of the first lap. Pay attention to the cars squabbling behind us. You can see they're all darting all over the place, left and to the right and into the barrier. So we have got a little bit of a room here between the cars behind us, but they go 4 wide into bus stop, which is not advised at all. We managed to pick up 3 of those 4 here, just the Golf managing to survive in front of us. We are back up to our qualifying time of P10, and you see there's a couple of cars out there in the boot section getting a bit lost or something. Not really sure what happened there, but there was a couple of people further down the road doing God knows what, to be honest. So we get a run up on the Golf through the uphill section here through the S's. We've also been pressured by the Audi behind us. We're going to claim the left-hand side. The Audi is going to claim the right. We are 3 wide, or the MG rather is claiming the right. I don't particularly want to be 3 wide, so I let out a little bit, and we get a nice tap from the Golf. And yep, we go straight into the barrier. Let's see, standard move there. I was pretty certain it was going to happen based on what I'd seen with the Golf earlier and where he was positioned behind me. So that drops us down to P15. Now I have I carry a bit too much speed coming into the final corner. I tried to grab third. My wheel for some reason didn't drop down to third gear when I wanted it to, and we just slide straight off into the barrier. We managed to get a couple of positions back up because of some DNFs and stuff, but overall we are basically finishing last on the road, and these have been a couple of races to forget on this one here, unfortunately. Showing my frustration, we're going to go across the line backwards because I need some form of enjoyment in my life at this point. So a P11 and a P16, definitely my worst showing on Forza to date, and that will show in our scores, unfortunately, because we have dropped to 4.752 and a lowered safety rating to Group A because of the penalties that we've picked up as well. So yeah, definitely one to forget here, unfortunately. Definitely showing some rust compared to what I would normally do, not being able to be on Forza for a few days. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We will just pick ourselves up and move on to the next one. Speaking of the next one, if you did want to watch another one, on the left here we have the last time we brought out the Civic and we had some much better results. On the right is the playlist for all of my other Forza videos. Do please click through those. If you do me a favour, drop me a like, leave me a comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this one and want to see more in the future. I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.